Hey there, Starlight. Welcome to Star Potential. I'm your host, Julie Joe, and I want to test a theory today that something doesn't have to take a lot of time in order to come alive. So, this episode is going to be 6 minutes long because, yes, you can spend 6 weeks preparing something, but what can you do with 6 minutes? Welcome to Star Potential, the podcast for curious, soul led humans who know there's more available. We want to explore it with depth, joy, and a little play. Here, we talk about reclaiming your authentic voice, shedding old identities, and expanding into who you're becoming without taking yourself too seriously. I'm your host, Julie Joe Hughes. Let's get curious, let it be fun, and see what ignites. So many times we put off doing something because it becomes bigger and bigger in our minds. And we think, yeah, I'm going to do that when I have time, when all the stars are aligned, when I can make that thing really happen and it can be just right. But what ends up happening is nothing. That's what I'm here to challenge today. Sometimes, if we can just be brave enough to give ourselves a little time constraint and just do the best we can with the time we're willing to give it, we can kind of amaze ourselves at what is possible. I learned this at a young age that I do my best work under pressure. The longer I have to think about something, the longer I have to stew about it, overthink it, make it too big of a deal in my mind. But when I was younger, many times had people convincing me that that tendency I have to put things off was a flaw because preparation is culturally associated with being disciplined and being serious. My whole life, people have basically told me, wow, you were that good with no preparation. Imagine how good you could be with much more diligent preparation. And I'm here to challenge that and say, not necessarily. I don't think that we all work that way. Now, when I was about 13 years old, I decided to do a talent show with about 48 hours notice. And the irony here is that I decided to perform the song from The Sound of Music called I Have Confidence. Well, I didn't know the song from Adam. And so, needless to say, by the time I got up to perform this a cappella song, I didn't really know it like the back of my hand. And wouldn't you know, I forgot all the words. But even though it was painfully obvious that I was struggling up there, at the end of my performance, I ended up with a standing ovation. And for years, I thought that that showed me that I could do anything if I was just willing to push through. But now I think it actually proves something else, that when the plan disappeared, I stayed present enough to keep creating. And that's why I still held on to the audience throughout the whole performance. And they cheered for me at the end, not just because I stuck with it, but because I actually created something palpable and something worthwhile in the midst of completely forgetting the script of what I set out to do. And sometimes it becomes even better than what we had planned. So I want to be clear here that I'm not saying that preparation doesn't matter. I'm just saying that there comes a time when you take all that preparation and you throw it to the back seat, and now we handle exactly what is in front of you. That's the difference between memorizing something, writing it until it's theoretically perfect, and now bringing it to life. How can we make this magnetic? How can we make this something that people actually feel? I think a lot of times we just keep refining and polishing and making something perfect, actually because that feels safer than being vulnerable, than opening yourself up to what's actually right in front of you. The problem is that having something memorized or polished or perfect doesn't take into account the person right in front of you, the energy of the room that you're in, the unexpected thing that happens in the moment, the emotion that catches you off guard when you deliver a certain piece, when you're truly speaking it from your heart. So, all your preparation gives you a place to start, in my opinion, but presence is what actually gives it life. So, what are you currently working on that might just need 6 minutes of action? Is there a video that you keep reshooting? Is there a book that you're wanting to write that you need to just start and see where it goes? Is there a podcast that you're wanting to record, but you just haven't tried it? Is there an important conversation that you need to have with someone that you've just been putting off? Maybe it's a junk drawer that you need to clean out and you keep putting it off because you think you need 2 hours to do that, when in fact, what you could do in the next 6 minutes is actually mind blowing. Here's your experiment for this week. I want you to set a timer for 6 minutes and don't worry about finishing the thing. Just begin. Just say the thing out loud. Let yourself start cleaning out the junk drawer. If it's a creative project, let yourself see what emerges without worrying about where it's going. This is also the experiment that I'm beginning to run with other people. So if you have something important that you're preparing to communicate, maybe it's a presentation, a speech, an audition, a pitch, a piece of content, I want to help you throw all that perfection into the back seat and find the magnetism underneath it. I'm opening a small number of complimentary one-on-one sessions to work with me while I explore this work. So if something immediately came to mind while I was describing this, you'll find the details in the show notes. I'd love for us to work together. Thanks for being here, Starlight. I'm excited to keep growing with you. Remember, 6 weeks might make it polished, but 6 minutes might show you where the life is. And look at that. We made it. If something in this episode lit you up or sparked a little curiosity, you might be in the middle of a soul shift of your own. I created a free quiz called Are You in a Soul Shift? To help you explore where you are and what's opening next. Just go to juliejohughes.com/quiz or find the link in the show notes. And if you're enjoying the show, would you please leave a quick rating or review? It helps create a ripple to reach other curious souls. Until next time, stay curious and let yourself play.